project is about learning kit of solar powered energy generator. Our project functions to convert solar energy to electrical energy. My group mate will explain what are the materials, what are the equipment used to do the project, and explain on how to operate, how to start the machine to start electric generating process by using solar panels.
Now the first step is we'll have to lift out the solar panels, and I'll explain about some of the materials in use in this project. So let's go. Firstly, we have to lift out the steel plate to make sure that it will hold the solar panel, and we have to use bolt nut to tie it on the 4 places that has been given to make sure that the solar panel doesn't move when it's placed under the sun. And I'll be explaining about the material used and the usage of it. Firstly, switch socket. We have used 3 switch sockets to make sure that more electric appliances could be used at the same time. Next is AC voltage meter. AC voltage meter is placed to make sure that we could see the input and output from the battery. Following by solar charger controller switch. Solar charger controller switch is for this, which is we could see how much heat is absorbed and how much power we have been using. Following by solar switch. If we turn on the solar switch, we could use the solar panel to absorb heat energy and store it into the battery. And this is AC voltage switch, which is for AC voltage meter. And this is solar charger controller. The solar charger controller, we could turn on the cooling fan and we could see how much power we had stored from using solar panel when we place it under the sun for charging. That's all from me, and one of my group mates will continue about explaining materials.
I would like to explain more of the material used in our project. Firstly, cooling fan. Why we use cooling fan in our project is to release the heat energy stored in the project and all of the components. Then secondly, acrylic board. The main role of acrylic board is to make sure all the components are visible to the learner. Then plywood. Plywood, the function of it is to withstand the weight of the battery. And then battery. Battery, the usage of battery is to store energy from the solar panel, which is DC current. Then lastly, power inverter. The main role of power inverter is to convert DC current into AC current, because most of the appliance users works using AC current.
Hello, today I want to explain about how does we have connect the wires to our project. The first step is we have connect the 3 solar panels into a parallel connection. Then from solar wires we must connect to the solar charge controller, and from solar charge controller we have to connect the wire to the 2 sides of batteries, and then from the batteries we must connect to the power inverter, which is 12 voltage, and from the power inverter we must connect to the AC voltage meter, and from the AC voltage meter lastly we must connect to the switch socket, and then that was done to our project. We can test out with our appliance. Now we would like to test run our project. Firstly, we must check out the connection of wires, and the first step is to switch on the solar charge controller switch. Then the solar charge controller will be display the voltage of batteries. The next step is we must switch on the AC power inverter.
This is a power inverter. We have to turn it out on here. When the red light goes off, it means the power inverter is ready to be used. It will only display a green light over here.
And the third step is we must switch on the AC voltage switch. That will be a display of voltage that store in battery and inverters. These are the solar AC voltage meter. And lastly, we have to check the fans and battery through switch socket.
when we turn on the switch, it will light up. It means the switch socket is working. This is the fan. It's working. And when we turn off the switch, the bulb is also working. It means all the three switch socket is in working condition, and the power inverter is changing from DC current to AC current perfectly, so that all the switch socket is working well.
Now we would like to explain on solar charging process under the sun. First step in solar charging process is need to turn on the solar charger controller switch and solar switch. Now we can see the reading on solar charge controller, which is 12.1, and the capacity of our battery is 12.5, which is slightly down in the battery load. The solar energy enters from the sun through this wire to the batteries, and the battery will be fully charged till 12.5 and is ready to be used.